Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. It's Newsflash. On today's show, James Comey, in an interview, called Trump morally unfit and a stain on all around him. We will talk about it. Russia says it has irrefutable evidence the UK staged the chemical attack in Syria. Why can't we see it? Andrew Cuomo sees what's coming. He doesn't know whether to run, join it, or attempt to destroy it. The tricky situation he's in New York, and why the fact that it's tricky for him means it's better for everyone around us. On today's show, this is Newsflash. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it today, because we do have a good show for you today, as always. Yeah, if there was any chance President Trump and James Comey could have avoided all-out war, it ended Sunday night. That's when NBC News aired an interview with Comey, the president's private FBI director, as he uses a publicity blitz for his hearing tell-all memoir, A Higher Loyalty, to raise the alarm about the dangers he says Trump poses to our country. While ABC aired an hour of the conversation with Comey, it had conducted a 5-hour interview with him, a transcript of which was obtained by the New York Times. In it, Comey called Trump a serial liar who treated women like meat and described him as a stain on everyone who worked for him. So yeah, there are excerpts from the interview, there are transcripts from the interview, there are a 5-hour interview. Really, it's almost like a congressional testimony to George Stephanopoulos. It's really crazy stuff. But yeah, while ABC aired 1 hour of the conversation, went on for much longer, as we know. He said a salacious allegation that Mr. Trump had cavorted with prostitutes in Moscow had left him vulnerable to blackmail by the Russian government, and he asserted the president was incinerating the country's crucial norms and traditions like a wildfire. He also compared the president to a mafia boss. And this is someone who has been very close to this. He's had multiple interactions with the president. He's seen how the president operates. He's heard probably a lot of things from people who go to visit him every day, people from the FBI maybe who do his intelligence briefing, who may be in the Oval Office. It makes sense how he could have gotten the information he's accusing Trump of. Sure, is some of it over-exaggerated to boost his book numbers? Yes, that's definitely probably true. And I really think it's funny. Like, James Comey is a rare talent in politics. He was not supposed to be a political figure. He says, "Oh, I'm a higher loyalty. I'm not a political figure. Whatever. You're a political figure, okay?" So, and the incredible thing is, you managed to piss off both sides of the aisle at one point in an incredible way, and still, they are still going to buy your book. One of the sides is, or maybe a good portion of the conservatives are going to buy your book just because they want to see what it's like. So, yeah, that's the incredible thing. That's why I really expect James Comey. He posted a picture of him like doing some kind of cartwheel thing, and I was like, enjoy it, drink it in, James Comey. He's like a normal dude. Right? He's totally not into a higher loyalty. The only higher loyalty he has, James Comey, is a green higher loyalty, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's a capitalist society. All people who are begrudging for making money, don't buy the book. I'm sorry. And if you go out and refute the claims he makes based on personal evidence and interaction with the president, oh wait, you really can't if you're being truly honest. So, just shut up. That's the incredible thing, that just, you're going to hear so much of this stuff over the next week when until he goes away and goes doing God knows what. I don't even think about it. And those book numbers continue to keep soaring. A president must embody respect and adhere values that are at the core of this country, Comey told ABC's chief anchor George Stephanopoulos on the program 2020. The most important being truth. The president is not able to do that. He is morally unfit to be president. I think we can all agree with that if we are actively looking at it. The stakes for both men could hardly be higher. Comey seems likely to be the star witness in any obstruction of justice case that might be brought against the president by Robert Mueller, the special counsel in the sprawling Russia investigation, Trump's legal fate as well as his political fortune in Washington may depend on whether he succeeds in undermining the credibility of Comey and the law enforcement institutions he views as arrayed against him. While many of Trump's critics believe the proper remedy for his perceived transgressions is impeachment, Comey insisted that would let the American people off the hook, and he said the public was duty-bound to vote Trump out of office in the next election. I mean, it's kind of interesting how he wants to really be some sort of star character, and pretty much begging us to vote him out of office when you, and I'm going to sound like a lot like a Hillary Clinton supporter here, you had a certain effect in the fact that Mr. Morally Unfit to be president is you had a pretty big effect on making him president. It definitely wasn't the whole thing, but you had a pretty big effect on turning the tides at the last few days to make him president. So, I mean, we need to acknowledge that first before you go all high horse on us claiming the public is duty bound to vote him out of office. I mean, shut up. Yeah. He says you cannot have as president of the United States someone who's not reflect the values that I believe Republicans treasure and Democrats treasure and independents treasure. That's the core of the country. That's our foundation. And so impeachment, in a way, would short-circuit that. So, yeah, he's not for impeachment. I personally am not for impeachment either. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the smartest path forward politically for Democrats, because Mike Pence is going to be in there for a certain period of time that I don't feel entirely comfortable about. And then whoever comes to the president into power next, hopefully it'll be a Democrat. And we try and maybe stabilize and maybe undo the damage that Trump has done in his first year and a half or so, I guess you could say, in office. So yeah, that's pretty much where I think you have to go in this. But it is going to be pretty tough. So yeah, Comey's intensely personal attacks are a reflection of the self-righteousness, or all the more combustible because they aimed directly at the president, who has said it with pride on Twitter, when someone attacks me, I attack back, except 100 times more. As if on cue, hours before the interview aired, Trump called Comey a slime ball for the second time in 3 days, saying a pair of early morning Twitter posts that he belonged in jail for what the president said were lies to Congress and leaks of classified information. In another post, Mr. Trump said that Comey would go down as the worst FBI director in history by far. He added he is not smart. So, yeah, we'll read you some of his tweets in a second. But, I mean, he is just adding more fuel to the fire here. I mean, I think it would be interesting to see what would happen if Trump just went silent on it and was just made him look like the crazy guy out there yodeling. Like the Walmart kid, like, someone please pay attention to me. Like, maybe one of the reasons why he made this book so personal is because he knew the president would attack him. He just couldn't resist. He just had to. Like, that's the thing there. He just had to come out there and had to come in and attack him just for personal gain here. And that's what looks like the situation went. Looks like that's how it went. Yeah, so anyway, in the ABC interview, Comey had kinder things to say about Trump's brain power, saying he did not think the president suffered from mental incompetence or was in the early stages of dementia. He said Trump struck him as a person as above average intelligence. But Comey responded to the president's Twitter post with more of a subtle dig of his own. He said on Twitter, My book's about ethical leadership and draws stories on life from my Twitter, draws on stories from my life and lessons I learned from others. 3 presidents are in my book. 2 help illustrate the value, to help illustrate the values at the heart of ethical leadership. 1 serves as a counterpoint. So yeah, that's definitely a shot there at Donald Trump. Maybe it could be a shot at George Bush. Who knows? Or Obama. Who knows? No, it's a shot at Trump. Like, are we serious with ourselves here? Like, we know we know what it is. Yeah, it is unclear where this epic battle of wills will lead. That's the real question. Where is it going to end? This is going to be some sort of fight that a lot of DC people are going to be involved in. No one's really going to be too invested in. It's like the real housemen of the DC area, or the Potomac. Apparently they actually have a Real Housewives of Potomac, but I didn't know that until this weekend. But it is certain to be a test of powerful forces in the modern media landscape. The presidential megaphone, amplified by 50 million Twitter followers, and the reach of a global reach of an adversary who's on a seemingly endless 24-hour cable news-driven book tour. Yeah, here are Trump's tweets. The big questions in Comey's badly reviewed book aren't answered, like how he gave up classified information, parentheses, jail. Why did he lie to Congress? Jail. Why did the DNC refuse to give the server to the FBI? Doesn't seem like an FBI problem. Actually, that does. Why didn't they take it? Why the phony memos? McCabe's 7,000 and more. I mean, if you're Trump, you are so well allied with Fox News. You have everything you need there. Like, that's a comprehensive defense strategy. Like, echoing Fox News, that always works. Like, yeah, so the president took a break from his attacks on Comey, though, as he left the White House on a rainy Sunday afternoon to spend time at Trump National Golf Club in Sterling, Virginia. But it seemed likely he and his allies would not back down in the face of Comey's barrage of public accusations, which are expected to continue for weeks. On ABC's This Week on Sunday morning, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary, unloaded on Comey, calling him a self-admitted leaker and liar. At the White House on Friday, she had called him a disgraceful partisan hack, a fired employee trying to desperately rehabilitate his tattered reputation and enrich his own bank account. Well, he's certainly trying to enrich his own bank account, which I think that's true. He's certainly trying to enrich his own bank account. I don't know if his reputation is tattered. I mean, if you, like, both sides hate you. I mean, and you can still sell your book to a bunch of people and still doing very, very well. That says more something about the people, not you. Like, I love how that's the case. I love how, like, that's, to me, my favorite part of this book. The irony, the massive irony about this is just how so easy the people in the resistance are going to eat this book up. Even though back in 2016, they would be wanting to pretty much blow Comey's head off. So, yeah, Russian officials said on Friday that their government can prove beyond a shadow. Like, there's before we go to the next story here, there's always been times that, like, one side absolutely hates Comey and one side absolutely loves him. So, like, if you went back to the time period before the election and before this whole FBI drama unfolded, you would have seen people saying things on the right like, oh my god, I love James Comey, he's the best, he's such a strong reputation in the FBI. But now that's obviously completely changed. So, yeah, it's just really incredible how time changes. All right, so we got to go into our next story now. And now for that, we take you to Moscow. Russian officials said on Friday their government can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the suspected chemical attack on a rebel-held enclave in Syria last week was a hoax staged by British spies. Defense and Foreign Ministry officials declined, however, to say what the evidence was or expose it to public scrutiny. That matters because Russian officials have a history of making false or misleading claims about attacks in Syria based on internet conspiracy theories or hoaxes. Volunteer rescue workers and anti-government activists in Syria said that more than 40 people killed in the chemical attack on Douma, east of Damascus, and shared images of dead and wounded on social networks. To me, there's no doubt that this attack actually happened, but with the United States and Britain considering the military strikes on the forces of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to deter the use of chemical weapons, Russia seemed to go all out to shield its Syrian ally, saying, quote, "We have irrefutable evidence that this was another staged event." Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he told reporters that, in the secret services of a certain state